Let's define three vocabularies: set, elements, and braces. A set is a well-defined collection of objects. The objects in a set are its elements. The elements of a set are separated by commas and enclosed in braces. What is a set? Consider a set as a toolbox. So I have 4 toolboxes at home: one for my cars, one for my electronics, one for my gardens, and one for my furniture. So inside this box, let's say for cars, I have C1, C2, and C3. So C1 is a tool, and then C2 is a different tool, and then C3 is a different tool. So I have a big box. Inside this box, I put my equipments and my tools in it, right? So C1, C2, C3 are the elements of the car's toolbox. So the entire box, I call it a set. So a set means the entire box. Inside the box, I have a set of tools. So these tools, they are the elements. So since I put my elements inside, or I should say I put my tools inside a big box, so the big box, do you see that there is a rectangle? The rectangle is like the braces. I have a box that provide a space for all the equipments. So each box contains a set of tools. So let's say for the first box for cars, so this is how I use the braces. So you draw 2 curly braces, and then you use comma to separate the elements. C1 is the first tool, C2 is the second tool, C3 is the third tool, and you use a comma to separate them. So C1 is in the car toolbox. So another way to describe this is you say C1 is an element of car. So this symbol, so this E, and then with a line, so that means it's an element. So C1 is an element of the car toolbox. That means C1 is inside car. So we have more examples: E1, E2, and E3. So they are, the E stands for electronics. So in my electronic toolbox, I have equipments. The first one is E1, the second one is E2, the third one is E3. So I have elements: E1, E3, so on and so forth in the electronics toolbox. So I can say E1, E2, E3, and the rest of the tools, they belong to the electronics. You can say it's an element of the electronics, or you can say they belong to electronics. So we have an example right there. So let's say set A is a set of integers from 0 to 10 inclusive. The word inclusive means including 0 and including 10. There are 2 ways to write a set. The first way is using the listing method. So listing method that means you just write everything out. So we have A equals to braces 0 to 10, and I use a comma to separate each element. So how many elements do we have in set A? So in set A from 0 to 10, if you count carefully, there are 11 numbers. So that means there are 11 elements in set A. So how do you describe 1 is an element of set A? So you write 1 is an element of set A. That's how you write it. You can write 0 is an element of set A. That means 0, this specific element, is inside set A. And then the second way is using the set builder method. Set builder method means you provide a description. So the correct way to read that is A is equals to an element such as X, such that the long bar means such that. So X such that X is a set of integers from 0 to 10 inclusive. So for the X, you can do this. You can do X1, X2, X3, X4, and then all the way to X11, because there are 11 numbers or 11 elements in this set. X1 is 0, X2 is 1, X3 is 2, so on and so forth. So if you want to say an element, a specific element is inside a set, so for example 5, you say 5EA, that means 5 is an element of set A, or 5 is inside A, 6 is inside A, 10 is inside A, but 20 and -5, they are not in that set A at all. So you say 20, and then you draw an E and then a slash. Slash means not an element of, or you can say not inside set A. -5 is not inside A. So that's why you write an E and then you cross that out, a E, and then with a slash means not an element of set A. So let's take a look at the listing method. So for the listing method, I have three sets. So set A is x such that x is a natural number and x is between -1 and 15. So how do you list this out? How do you list set A? So set A, what do we have? From 1 to 15 natural numbers, but I do not want to include 15. So if you look at the inequality symbol, there is no equal. No equal means you do not include 15. So the way we do this is we go from 1 to 15. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, no 15. Because there is no equal from 1 to 15, including 1, but do not include 15. And then set B is odd, y is an odd number and is between negative, look at the inequality. There is a typo, right? So that should not be an x, so this should be a y, the next one should be a z. Okay, so y is between -13 and 11, but they must be odd and do not include 11. Okay, so -13, and then -11, right? -9, -7, -5, -3, -1. 0 is not odd because 0 is divisible by 2. Divisible by 2 means 0 divided by 2 has no remainder. And then 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 do not include 11. Then we stop at 9. Alright, C is z such that z is an even integer, and then between -9 and 17 do not include -9 but include 17. Since 17 is even, we don't need 17 at all. So C. So if you do not consider 9, then the next even integer is -8 and then -6, -4, -2, 0. 0 is even because 0 is divisible by 2. And then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, equal to 17, but 17 is odd, then we don't care about 17. So that ends at 16. All right, so we have the set builder. What is set builder? Set builder notation means you have to draw a description. All right, so D, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So that means D. So let's say you call this x1 and this x2, x3, and then so forth. So that means D is x such that x is an integer, right? X is, and to be specific, I should say x is an even integer. So even integer, and x is between 2 and 20, right? So 2 including 2 and then including 20. All right. How about E? So E is -7 to -1 and then 0, 1 all the way to 10. So it looks like all the integers between -7 and 10. And then can you use y instead of x? Of course. I should say most people, they use x, but if you insist to use y, that is fine. So let's try y. So y1, y2, y3, y4, y5, and then so on and so forth. So for set E, I can say the elements represent y such that y is an integer. So y is an integer, and y is between -7 and 10. There you go. That's it. So again, for the set builder method, the set builder means you draw a description. The listing method means you write the entire list. All right, so that is the end of this video. If you think my instruction is helpful, let me know in the comment below. Like the video, share the video for me, subscribe to my channel. I will see you all in the next one. Signing out for now.